J.
Good morning, folks, and welcome to the Average Joe Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, Jay Real, bringing you a Tuesday edition of the show. Now, we have a lot to cover, so we're going to jump right in with the NFL. Seattle Seahawks are on fire right now. They just smacked down, beat down the Saints Monday night. I mean, it was unbelievable. 34-7. You hold the Saints to 7 offensive points. That is just pathetic. That is unbelievable that a high potent offensive team like the Saints can only get 7 points. Let's just break down that game. You have Drew Brees, one of the best quarterbacks probably in the history of the NFL. He threw for 147 yards and 1 touchdown. That is horrible. When you got on the other side, the phenom in Russell Wilson threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, no picks. Right now, the Seahawks are the hottest team, or one of the hottest teams in the NFL, and it's hard to see them slowing down right now because they're just on fire. It's really crazy. Now, there's one other team that's on fire just as much as the Seahawks, and that is the Panthers with an 8-game winning streak. These guys are just blowing up. And again, in the NFL, when it comes to titles, the team that's hot at the end is usually the one that wins. Both of these teams are on fire and on a streak. So we'll see. Time will tell, right? Now, moving on with that, what is up with Kansas City? 3 losses in a row after knocking off 9 straight wins? What is wrong with this team? Everyone was down on Kansas City saying, oh, they haven't beat anyone. They haven't done anything. They had beat 9 NFL teams in a row this year. Then they're going to go and play Denver, get their faces smacked around, and then lose to them again? Within 3 weeks, that's just awful. So I don't know what's going on with Kansas City, but they still have a winning record, and they should be making it to the playoffs. But again, as we just said, if they go into the playoffs with a 4 or 5 game losing streak, it's not easy, or it shouldn't be hard to say that they're going to probably get kicked out that first round. So again, we'll see how that plays out. Now, moving real quick, transition, let's go over to the NBA. You're talking the Spurs, Duncan. Phenomenal game to help them come back against the Hawks and win that game. This is the problem with the Spurs. You love them in the regular season and they could have a 20-game winning streak. That's fine. They could win game after game after game. It's in the playoffs where this team slows down and breaks down. Why? Because of their age. They're an old team. It's hard for them to go through the playoffs 1, 2, 3 rounds and play these better teams and have the energy and stamina to make it through to the finals. So when they do get there, they're just so spent, so beat down and worn down that they just get ran over in the final game. So it's hard. They're a frustrating team. You love them because they're the perfect NBA team. They don't get in trouble. They play as a team, and their coach is just an amazing coach. So overall, the Spurs are great. You love to see them win, but they're not going to beat up on Miami Heat in 7 games. It's not going to happen. Okay, so speaking of the Heat, who can compete with the Heat? Well, there's about 3 or 4 teams out there that should be competitive when it comes to the Heat. You got Indiana, you got the Clippers, you got Oklahoma City, and you might be able to throw 1 or 2 other teams in there. This is the problem. They all play inconsistent basketball. How can you go on a 6 or 7 game win streak or have guys playing lights out and then you lose 3, 4 games in a row and have no one show up for your team? It's just hard to see anyone this year again taking care of the Heat in 7. But again, it's still early in the season. We'll see what's going on towards the end of this year's season. Now, speaking of the Heat again, LeBron James is suffering from back issues. They've been nagging, they've been kind of going on and on. How long before he has to take time off and get this fixed? I do believe it is a non-surgical issue, but you can't always be playing hurt and in pain and in discomfort. Eventually, sometime it's going to affect your play. So it's just interesting, just giving you all that news. Just keep your eye out on that because it would be very unfortunate if LeBron gets hampered with these back issues down the road and he has to miss big times of games or big games. So with that said, we're going to move on. NCAA is just a mess right now. Well, I don't want to say a mess, but there's so much stuff going on. One of the big things is, of course, Alabama gets beat down by Auburn on the most crazy play I've ever seen in college football, and that's on a missed field goal. The guy catches in the end zone and runs 106 yards back to win the game, costing Auburn not only a national championship, but A.J. McCarron the opportunity to win a Heisman Trophy, because I don't think he's going to be able to win now. With that loss and them not winning a championship, A.J. McCarron ain't going to have a chance, snowball's chance, in you know where to win a freaking Heisman Trophy. It's just not going to happen. So I feel bad for them, but they went to fourth. Can you believe that? They lose one game in almost 2 years, and they go all the way to fourth. Do they have a chance to get back in that number 2 spot? We say no. We think clearly it's going to be Florida State and Ohio State playing for a national championship this year. And that's our call. We'll see what you all think. Leave us comments and feedback. Tell us your picks. Then USC names their new head coach. He is the coach from Washington. Sarkisian is his name, and he was already with USC for 7 years, 4 years ago, when all that controversy was going on, when they got cost the championships and all those wins. He was the assistant coach. Why would you want to get somebody back in your organization that cost you so much? Even though he wasn't the head coach, he still was involved with that coaching staff. Anyway, USC, they bring back Sarkisian. A lot of people are kind of on the fence, 50-50. Some say it's a good hire, some say it's not. Time will tell again on that. And we have to say, if he can get USC back to that 2-loss, 1-loss, possibly playing for a national championship next year, I'm sure USC fans are going to love Sarkisian being back. But if he goes that 6-7 or 6-8 or what in that middle range, I'm sure heads are going to want heads to roll there. Now moving on in our wrap up, we have to thank the Player Zone. All your gaming needs, all your memorabilia, sports cards, comic books, all your gift ideas, come see them, 2117 Sudreth, number 15, or you can contact them by phone, 575-257-0559. And we cannot forget, Player Zone is going to be welcoming Santa Claus this year, December 14th and 15th, 21st and 22nd, 1 o'clock to 5 p.m. Santa Claus will be at the Player Zone. Come on in here and check it out. Welcome Santa with not only the Player Zone, but the other sponsors, Freestyle Productions, Freestyle Jewelry, can't say enough for them, or newer sponsors, Right on Time Errand and Delivery Service. Much love to them. They've been with us since the beginning. And then also another new sponsor, or newer sponsor, RV Park and Seeping Springs RV Park and Campground. You're fishing, you're hanging out, doing some paddle boats. Just an amazing place to take the family and friends, have a good time. So with that said, I want to go ahead and go into the Magic Minute. Last week we decided to do something that the Player Zone has never done before, and that was an all hands, all free, had an Emperor Rules free-for-all tournament. That's where you drew 10 cards. Each player drew 2 cards per turn. You lay all your mana down and bam, you just go at it. You're putting down creatures and spells. You got guys flinging attacks, ricocheting them with spell cards, deflecting them with counter spells. It was a free-for-all. It was an amazing tournament. Had a lot of fun there at the Player Zone. This Friday, can't go wrong with red and or white. The theme for this month is Christmas. So all month long, only red, white, or green tournament decks or tournament colors will be allowed. Again, representing Christmas. So can't miss it, folks. If you want to get involved, again, contact the Player Zone, or as we say, the new No Bully Zone. That's right. The Player Zone and all of our sponsors are a no bully free, zone free business. If you want your sticker logo to put in your window, car, home, just contact the Player Zone, or you can write at P.O. Box 1942, Capitan, New Mexico 88316. Tell us your bully story, or if you just want to have someone to chat with, write to. Believe me, we'll write every single person that contacts us back personally, either by me or one of the crew. And again, Sleeping Springs RV Park and Campground, another big partner with the No Bully, Why Bully Be a Friend campaign. Got to cut it out. No need for it. So for right now, folks, J Real's going to say we will see you on Friday's show. Remember, leave your feedback and comments. And don't hesitate to contact us if you want to get involved with the show, you want to come sit in the house, if you're in the area, or if you want to call in, whatever it takes. We want to hear from you. For right now, J Real signing out. We'll see you Friday.
J